Well, here we are. It's another Saturday morning. You know what that means. It's time for the Cummins Real Estate Group show with local rock star realtor Michele Cummins. Good morning, Michele.
Good morning, Curtis. How are you this fine Saturday morning?
I am doing great now that we are chatting because I know in my heart you are ever so excited because today is a stat show.
You know me well. Hey, and can you believe it's fall back weekend?
I know. It's like just flying by. I can't believe it's already that time of year.
2 a.m. and must take the clock back an hour.
Yeah, I'll get Mickey's, his arms turning backwards, so we're good.
Oh, man, all the beautiful rain and everything. And I can't believe fall is just like, it's November, and we're in the heart of it. Oh, and today is our stat show. So we're talking all about stats in the first segment. And then in our second segment, oh, my gosh, we have a guest, and it's so timely for this guest. I'm not even going to say who it is or what it is, but you will have to stay tuned and hear because we got some great information for you. So we're going to electrify you later on in the show.
Oh, I like that. And, of course, it is a stat show, and the first stat we're going to get out is Michele has had 17 cups of coffee this morning.
Okay, Curtis, you don't exaggerate or anything.
No, I'm not prone to hyperbole at all. Okay, 3.
Yeah. Just 16, actually. No.
Oh, sorry. I was a little closer. Okay.
Well, when you have as good as coffee as I have, you like to drink it up. Plus, I got to prepare for the stat show.
Exactly. You got a lot of stats, not that much time to get them out. So we should probably use that caffeine to our advantage.
This just came out November 2nd, and the MLS sales in the Fraser Valley remained strong in October, while supply continued to diminish. As we've talked about before, and it's still happening, low supply of product for buyers to buy. So demand for Fraser Valley real estate remained solid in October, with overall sales the third highest on record. So the board property sales went through in October an increase of 3.9% compared to September and a decrease of 18.2% compared to the same month last year. Larry Anderson, our president of the real estate board, says what we're seeing is a combination of above-average sales with below-average new listings, which is placing strong upward pressure on home prices for all residential categories month over month. It is a very challenging time, particularly for buyers. I empathize with clients who have been trying to buy a home for more than a year without success after multiple attempts. Now, more than ever, is the time when buyers and sellers alike must rely, you want to reply too, but rely on their realtor to guide and advise them in considering all available options, including a change in community or even property type. This is so true. Sometimes you got to go out a little bit further than you want to get the right property type for your quality of life. You have to sometimes think out of the box when you're in a situation like we are today with the low listing supply. Across the Fraser Valley in October, the average number of days to sell a single-family detached home was 28 days, and a townhome was 18 days. Condos took on average 27 days to sell. Now, again, that's across the Fraser Valley. Many listing appointments I go on, and most all of my listings sell within a week to 2 weeks. But that is average overall. Now let's go into the benchmark price for overall Fraser Valley single-family detached is at $1,396,700. That's an increase of 2.5% compared to September 2021, so just last month, and an increase of 33.4% compared to October of last year. Townhouses are at $720,500. That's the benchmark price, and that's an increase of 1.9% compared to September of 2021, and an increase of 26.6% compared to last year. Condos are at $514,200, and that is an increase of 1.9% compared to last month, and an increase of 18.3% compared to October of 2020. So going into municipality by municipality, Abbotsford first up, detached homes for benchmark price are currently at $1,208,900. That's an increase of 38.4% from last year. And month over month, an increase of 3.1%. Townhouses at 611,400, and that's an increase from last year, 28.4%. And an increase month over month of 1.1%. Condos in Abbotsford are at 406,700, an increase from last year of 25.8%, and an increase month over month of 2.8%. Mission detached benchmark prices are at $999,000, an increase of 37.6% from last year, and month over month, an increase of 3.1%. Townhouses are at $617,900, an increase of 31.3% from last year, and an increase of 1.1% from the month before. Same thing with Abbotsford, that was exact figure. And condos in Mission are at $432,000. That's an increase of 22.3% from last year, and no increase whatsoever month over month. And for White Rock, South Surrey area, benchmark price for detached homes are at $1,767,200. That's an increase of 22.4% from last year, and an increase of 1.8% from the month before. Townhouses are at $870,900, an increase of 28.4% from last year, and an increase month over month of 3.4%. Condos at $590,000, 300, an increase from last year of 19.5%, and an increase of last month 2.1%. Langley benchmark prices for detached homes are $1,457,700, an increase of 33.6% from last year, and an increase of 2.4% from last month. Townhouses at $733,700, an increase of 27.3% from last year, and a modest increase of 0.6% from the month before. Condos are at $486,500. That's an increase from last year of 22.4%, and an increase month over month of 2.2%. Now, Delta, North Delta area, benchmark price for detached homes at $1,268,000, an increase of last year of 30.4%, and an increase month over month of 3.2%. Townhouses at $700,600, an increase of 20.6% from last year, and an increase of 1.7% from the month before. Condos in Delta are at $418,300. That's an increase of 9.4% from last year, and an increase of 3.1% from the month before. And last but not least is all of Surrey, City of Surrey combined. Benchmark prices of detached homes at $1,507,400, and that's an increase of 32% from last year, an increase of 2.2% from the month before. Townhouses are at $746,400, and that's an increase of 26% from last year, and an increase of 2.6% from the month before. Last, condos. Month over month, it's gone up 1.6%. Year over year, up 15.3%. And that price for condos in the City of Surrey is $462,000. So there we go. That's our stats for October.
Very cool. Very cool indeed. Now, this is the one thing. When you say benchmark, that's like an average price, right?
No, there is average. There is median. There is benchmark price. And I like going with the benchmark price because it's more of a true value going on type of product and size of product and all of that. Where an average price, there's the high price, there's the low price, and they take the average of in between. And then there's the median price. So, yeah, there's three different types, but benchmark price I find is the truer. So that's where I go on. But if anybody wants to know what all the other rates are, prices are, and differences are in percentages, I have every single month, I upload the full Fraser Valley Real Estate stats on my homepage, on my website. You just scroll down to the very bottom, and you can go back and you can look at every single month to see where things have gone, and you can see all the different percentages.
Perfect. Of course, benchmark just sounds cooler than saying median or average or the other ones either, right? It just sounds better.
It does. Kind of sounds hip and now, I think.
It does sound hip and now. It does. And how much, I don't want to get too off topic here, but how much does the benchmark vary from, say, the median or the average normally?
Oh, that's a good question, Curtis. Well, let me just give you an example here. You know what? Our wonderful radio station is out of Abbotsford. So why don't we just see the difference in Abbotsford?
Sure.
Let me go right to it.
And I live here, so that interests me. So, yes, tell me.
There you go. Okay, so detached homes, the benchmark price was $1,208,900. Well, the median is actually higher at $1,225,000, while the average price is even higher yet at $1,242,800. And so, so I'm doing the modest price, but really the average is the highest. And that is like a difference of almost $40,000 from the benchmark price, from average to benchmark.
Okay, very interesting. Now I have a better understanding, which is tough to do. So good on you.
Anytime, Chris, anytime.
Take a quick break right now. Michele, if people want more information about what you do as a realtor, where can they go?
MicheleCummins.ca.
We'll be back with more right after this.
She's a somewhere girl. She's a somewhere girl.
And we are back with segment number 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with myself, Curtis Pope, and of course the star of the show, Michele Cummins. And I think you want to get to our guest.
Okay, you know what? I want to introduce get right into our guest right now, because I have a lot of questions to ask him, and I'm sure he has a lot to tell us. And when I met Craig a while ago, he really stood out to me as a service provider. He really cares about the people he's working with. Yes, he knows what he does really good. He knows his job really good. His whole company is amazing. I've had them at my place, at my personal house, to do work for me, and they're amazing. Craig is from Universal Electrical Services, and they work really tirelessly to provide really professional experience for electrical work. Like, they're really good. And from the littlest thing to the biggest thing, I don't want to mess with electrical. I don't want to be shocked. I just leave that to the professionals. I don't care how small of a job it is. I'm not going to take that chance. I don't know about you, Curtis, but.
Oh, yeah, please. You send Richard in first. When he gets shocked, you call in the professionals.
Oh, well, he stops watches, and he shocks enough as it is, so. But, Universal Electrical Services, their commitment is to provide a responsive, customer-oriented service that values safety and reliability, and that is hard to come by nowadays with service providers. So that's why I'm having him on the show. I was very, very impressed, and that's why I'm happy, because he's got a lot of good information, and it's timely, as I said before. So they offer a wide variety of services, from inspections to electrical vehicle charges, small service calls, as mentioned, and panel upgrades, and so much more. Whether residential or commercial, they do both, and they have the knowledge and experience to handle any electrical work you need done. I mean, Craig, thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, yeah, Curtis, Michele, thank you so much for having us. We're just so excited to be here. It's a great opportunity for us to come and chat with you both. So thank you so much for a lovely introduction as well.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. Just so happy to have you here, because I had from a birthday party. I think was it my birthday party or Richard's this last year? We had balloons, strings tied and stuck and wrapped into our, we had this amazing speed fan, with 2 blades above each other, so 4 blades. And anyways, we were really scared. It got really wrapped in there. And I remember, Craig, you had mentioned something, you gave some information out, and you were like, okay, this is the way you spin your fan in the wintertime. This is the way you do it in the summer. And I had to have you out to do some switches and some other stuff at my place, but you also fixed my fan, and I just want to say thank you for that. And would you be able to explain again that advice that you had given me? It was a little over a month ago, I believe, about fans.
Yeah, of course. And, that's not even the strangest thing we've found up in people's, ceilings and attics. And we won't go there, but there's some good stories for another time. But in terms of your ceiling fans, this time of year, with the weather getting colder, everybody's really looking for ways to not only keep their house warm, but if possible, save energy. That stuff's not getting any cheaper. And so there's a few little tips around your house or things you can, look into that will really make a difference. And ceiling fans are actually a really valuable part of keeping your house both cool and warm. So in the wintertime, we recommend that you have those set to rotate clockwise and then set them to a lower speed. And so what that's going to do is it's going to help bring a lot of the cooler air from lower down, higher up to mix with kind of the warmer air, and then help disperse that more evenly around the home. So when paired with the rest of the heating system throughout your house, it just works as another device that helps to reduce the amount of time your heaters and furnace have to be on, and then ensuring that heat gets dispersed nicely and evenly around your house.
That tip alone makes such a difference. I've got really, really high ceilings, vaulted ceilings in both my master bedroom and the great room, and those are where the two fans are. So it does make a huge difference. I've been noticing lately since I've been doing that, since I heard that advice. Curtis, do you have any fans?
None. Oh, you mean in my house? Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about my radio show. No, we have fans in our master bedroom. We have a fan. You should know. You sold me the house.
I know. I couldn't remember. Oh. So I wanted to really a major thing because generators. Okay, Craig. I want to talk generators. That is something that I've actually been really, really happy I have a generator in this last few weeks because we've had these winds that have been crazy winds where I'm like in between a hill and a channel where the winds really come through. And I lost power quite a few times already and once for a few hours. And I was so happy to have my generator. So can you talk to us about generators?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so right. When you live anywhere where there's a likelihood that you could experience outages, whether it's from wind or whatever's causing that, generators are just such a great backup option. Anybody working from home or, that say you have some sort of medication that's got to stay refrigerated, or even if you made a big trip out to a store and you filled your fridge and your freezer, the last thing you want is that stuff going bad if the power's going to be out for a few days. And yeah, I've seen it. I used to live in a pretty rural area, and we had times where the power would go out and it wouldn't come back on for, over a week. And suddenly you're losing a lot of the things you've spent your hard-earned money on, and, they're valuable items for you. So definitely generators they're so great, and they come in such a variety of options as well. And that's something that I really love about them.
I remember once my sister and brother-in-law, they're hunters, so they've got a huge freezer with the best meat in it, like filled to the brim. And their power went out once, and it was very, very sad because they lost everything. And you can imagine how much money of packed and meat that was. It was really sad. Curtis,
I can only imagine.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying I can only imagine that. That's exactly why, we bring them up this time of year, because we don't want to see other people have to go through something that you've worked pretty hard for.
Craig, what can you run with a generator? Can you explain it to us so we know how generators work with our homes?
Yeah, of course. I mean, kind of like we mentioned, they come in so many different options. Everybody's probably quite familiar with your traditional mobile ones that you see at events and things like that. Those are great, of course, for smaller purposes like that. But those mobile ones can be used in your home. Say you only are concerned with your fridge. That's the only thing you want to be able to power in the event of an outage. A smaller unit will be able to handle that just fine. But if you want to go up from there, really the sky's the limit. They even make the really larger scale ones you can think of that are used in commercial applications. So the options are there. If you want to go smaller, you want to be able to power your entire home in the event of a power outage, the options are there.
And it's worth its weight in gold. It's worth every little penny you put into it, because especially if you're in a rural area, like depending on where you're at, definitely just don't think twice and get a generator. I have to say, it's definitely saves a lot. What kind of fuel options are there for generators? Because, I'm on a propane gas, not natural gas, but what kind of options are there?
Yeah, I mean, you've highlighted just there two of the really biggest and probably best known ones is the propane or, your natural gas system. They do, of course, make models as well that run off of diesel. And then, kind of exciting as well because, the world's all about going green, and that's a huge thing right now. There are more and more options emerging in the market that use, newer energies such as wind and solar that can help store energy, in a battery kind of backup system as opposed to, say, a generator, which is then turned on and is running gas of some kind through it. These systems more use the nice times of year when it is super sunny to save up a nice storage of energy.
Oh, that's so interesting. I never would have thought by wind and or solar panels. So that's really neat. Even in our climate where it's cloudy a lot and rainy a lot in the kind of this time of year in wintertime.
Yeah, it's, and that's where, depending where you live, of course, these make a big difference. Thankfully, a lot of our properties do have gas available at them. In some areas, I think we're going to see a lot more emerging wind technology, especially as you mentioned where you live. The winds can get pretty volatile at times.
Then that brings me to a question of what kinds of properties are good for generators, because you mentioned commercial, residential world. So what kind of properties?
Yeah, you bet. I mean, the simplest answer, of course, is almost everybody. But, if you're within a city, say you're in a townhouse or a condo, those are obviously become less practical just in terms of the space you have and the, ability. Like generators are kind of noisy, so in some of those settings that we've explored in the past, there's always been a lot of issue from other neighbors. Mm-hmm. However, in places like rural areas, if you live out in the farmland or anything like that, the power outages are always longer and they seem to happen more frequently as well, which is unfortunate, but those are great properties that have that. And then again, anywhere in the commercial type of world, they've usually got very large scale backup systems, depending, of course, what they do. But I even like them for maybe a less of that traditional sense and say if you've got a cabin somewhere, if you've got a tiny house somewhere, there's lots of options available out there.
Well, and talking about residential, but maybe going off of the generator, is a lot of people with mobile homes that are thinking about selling their homes really need to make sure that they have the CSA, but the silver sticker and everything. And I know you do, everything from inspections to more, but you will do that as well. Can you highlight a little bit about how somebody might need that?
Yeah, of course. The silver labels are, that's a crucial part of selling a mobile or manufactured home. And I've come across all kinds of scenarios where we've had to review those types of homes. So say, for instance, if somebody does a non-permitted renovation of any kind, especially to the electrical system or any heating, that usually triggers the need for an inspection of some kind. But a lot of the time, those labels just go missing as well. And it doesn't matter if you've never done anything to that home. If that label's not there when you go to sell it, it's going to come up, and then that's when the inspection is required.
That's right. You can't even list it on the MLS legally without having that in place. So if you're thinking about selling and you're listening to the show, make sure you call Craig and get that first done before you call me, a realtor, to evaluate it and list it for you. So now, timing too, as it's getting colder, baseboard heaters, Craig, and smart thermostats, which is so fantastic, especially if you love going to Mexico or Hawaii or something in the winter, a little warmer. And having a smart thermostat that you can control and see and be alerted on your smartphone is a simple change, but it really impacts you a lot and could actually save your house if let's say there's a freeze or whatnot. Can you highlight that for us?
Yeah, I really love the smart thermostats. I put one in my house, and I've seen a massive difference in terms of just how efficiently my system is being used now. And so these are great because they're programmable, but they also, there's an element of learning to them. So they start to understand, when you want the heat on, and you can set a very surprisingly specific schedule that just accommodates your life and works around when you're going to be home, when you're going to be away, when you're sleeping, and you can set all your varying comfort levels. And these are great because, baseboard heaters, are infamous, of course, for, using a lot of energy, and they do tend to cause increases on your bill, but having something like a smart thermostat that is designed specifically to use those for the shortest amount of time while producing the maximum amount of heat towards your desired comfort level, it's just another tool that we can use this time of year to, of course, stay comfortable, because that's our number one, but try and keep that heating bill down a little bit.
Well, thank you, Craig, so much for being on our show and helping us with all these highlights and tips for these winter months and fall months that we're in right now. We thank you so much, and I will be in touch with you soon, and I have some clients who can really use your services as well. So thank you.
Yeah, Michele, Curtis, thank you again so much for having us. It's been a blast.
Really appreciate all that advice and everything. So I wanted to end the show with just mentioning a featured listing of mine. So I've got these side-by-side properties that's adjacent to the Sandpiper Golf Resort and views of the Harrison River. If you are a blended family or you're an investor because there's future growth there, this is the place to buy. It's gated. It would be perfect for Airbnb, vacation rentals. Oh, it's beautiful. So call me today or check it out on my website or my social media, because honestly, I do a lot of social media, and I've got my 2 coming soon listings that will be up there too. I've got 2 coming up in Mission, one on Dunsmuir Street and one on Alder Street. So keep an eye on those in the next few days. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week and stay warm.
All right, now, Michele, if people want more information about what you do, what is your website address?
MicheleCummins.ca.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on the show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.